Every few months, a headline appears in a Canadian newspaper warning that the old age security program is in trouble, that it may be cut, that the government cannot afford it, and every time that happens, seniors across the country feel a wave of anxiety about the income they depend on. So today, I want to give you a calm, honest, clear-eyed look at the real state of Canada's OAS program. Not the scary headlines, not the political spin, just the actual evidence. Is your OAS safe? What are the real pressures on this program? And most importantly, what can you do right now to protect yourself no matter what happens in the future? Stay with me because later in this video, I am going to share 3 specific strategies that give you the most control over your retirement income in an uncertain environment. They do not require a financial advisor, and one of them costs absolutely nothing to implement. Welcome. My name is Naeem, and today we are talking about the long-term future of old age security, Canada's largest social program and one of the most important monthly payments that millions of Canadian seniors depend on. This is a topic with a lot of noise and very little clarity. My goal today is to cut through that noise and give you the honest picture. The good news, the genuine concerns, and the practical steps you can take to protect yourself. Let us start with something that surprises almost everyone. Most people think the OAS works the same way as the Canada Pension Plan, that you paid into it during your working years and now you are getting your money back. But that is actually not how OAS works at all. The CPP is a true savings program. Every year you worked, you and your employer both contributed to a national fund. That money was invested. It has grown. There is currently over $650 billion sitting in the CPP fund right now, and it is projected to grow to nearly $3 trillion by 2050. When you receive your CPP payment, it is backed by real invested assets. The actuaries who review the CPP have confirmed it is sustainable for at least the next 75 years. The OAS is completely different. There is no fund. There are no invested assets. Every single dollar paid to OAS recipients today comes directly from Canadian taxpayers today. It is what economists call a pay-as-you-go system. Every month, the government collects taxes and uses a portion of that revenue to pay OAS benefits. This means that the financial health of the OAS is directly tied to 2 things: how many seniors are receiving it, and how healthy the overall Canadian economy is. Why does this matter to you? Because it means the 2 programs face very different risks. The CPP is protected by its asset base, the OAS is not. It is entirely dependent on the government's budget, and that is where the real conversation begins. Now, let us look at what the numbers actually say about the future of OAS, because I want you to have the real picture, not the alarming one and not the overly rosy one. Here's the honest situation. The number of Canadians receiving OAS is going to grow significantly over the next decade. Right now, roughly 7 million seniors receive OAS. By 2035, that number is expected to reach nearly 10 million. By 2060, over 12 million. Every one of those people will receive a monthly payment indexed to inflation, meaning the payment goes up as the cost of living rises. At the same time, the ratio of working-age Canadians to retirees is shrinking. In the 1950s, there were roughly 7 workers for every retiree. By 2020, that had fallen to about 3 to 1. By 2060, it is projected to reach 2 to 1. In a pay-as-you-go system, that shift puts real pressure on the government's ability to fund the program at current levels without either raising taxes or cutting other spending. The good news, and this is genuinely important, is that when Canada's own government actuaries model this out, they conclude that the OAS remains affordable as a share of the overall economy. The cost of OAS will rise as a percentage of Canada's GDP through the 2030s as the baby boom retires, then gradually come back down as the baby boom ages further and the economy continues to grow. The program is not heading toward collapse. That is the honest conclusion of Canada's most rigorous pension analysts. But here's where I need to add an important nuance because the sustainability depends on several things going right at the same time. It depends on the Canadian economy growing at a moderate pace. It depends on the federal government keeping its debt under reasonable control. And it depends on no major new benefit expansions being added without matching revenue. If any of those conditions deteriorate significantly, if the economy stagnates, if inflation surges while growth slows, or if governments add expensive new benefits without a plan to pay for them, the pressure on OAS grows meaningfully. Does any of that sound like something worth paying attention to? I think it does, and that is why the strategies I will share in a few minutes matter so much. Let me introduce you to a couple we will call Paul and Lorraine. They are both 68. Paul receives a small private pension from a company he worked for in his 40s, his CPP and his OAS. Lorraine's income is mostly OAS and GIS. Together, they manage a modest but comfortable retirement in a small city in Ontario. A few years ago, Paul started taking larger withdrawals from his RRIF, his registered retirement income fund, to help with some home repairs and to support a family member. By the time he filed his taxes, his total income that year had crossed $90,000. He did not realize it at the time, but that pushed him into the zone where the government begins to claw back OAS payments. He ended up repaying a portion of his OAS the following year, money that he and Lorraine had already spent. It was a genuine shock. Paul's situation is not unusual. The OAS clawback is one of the most misunderstood aspects of the entire retirement income system, and it is a problem that can be avoided almost entirely with a little planning. I will explain exactly how in the strategy section coming up. There is another area of genuine uncertainty that I want to address honestly, because I think you deserve to know about it. There is currently a debate in the federal government about whether to extend a 10% increase in OAS to seniors aged 65 to 74. Right now, seniors over 75 receive that extra boost. It was put in place a few years ago to recognize that older seniors often have higher costs and less flexibility. The proposal to extend it to younger seniors has significant public support, but independent analysts have estimated it would cost the federal treasury around $3.6 billion a year. Meanwhile, Canada's federal deficit is already running at tens of billions of dollars annually. Interest payments on the national debt are consuming a growing share of government revenue. The Parliamentary Budget Officer, an independent watchdog who reviews government finances, has raised concerns about whether the government's current spending plans are sustainable over the long term. What does this mean for you? It means that the OAS program is not in immediate danger. Your payment this month and this year is not at risk. But it does mean that the long-term shape of the program, who gets how much, when, and under what conditions, is genuinely uncertain. Eligibility ages, income thresholds, and benefit levels are all subject to future political decisions. That is not a reason to panic, but it is a reason to plan as if your OAS is a strong pillar of your retirement income, not the only one. Now let me deliver on what I promised at the beginning. 3 specific strategies that give you the most control over your retirement income, regardless of how the political and economic landscape shifts. The first strategy is understanding and managing the OAS clawback. This is the most immediate and actionable thing most middle-income retirees can do. The clawback begins when your net income, from all sources combined, exceeds roughly $95,000. For every dollar above that line, 15 cents of your OAS is returned to the government. It sounds like a high threshold, but for someone with a company pension, CPP, and large RRIF withdrawals, it can be reached more easily than people expect. The key tool here is your tax-free savings account, your TFSA. Withdrawals from a TFSA are not counted as income for any government benefit test, not OAS, not GIS, nothing, which means that if you are approaching the clawback threshold in a given year, taking money from your TFSA instead of your RRIF keeps your reported income lower and protects your full OAS payment. This is the strategy Paul and Lorraine needed and did not have. Building your TFSA and using it strategically to smooth your annual income is one of the most powerful moves available to Canadian retirees. The second strategy is deferring your OAS if your health and finances allow it. You can start OAS anytime between 65 and 70. Every month you delay past 65, your monthly payment goes up by 0.6%. Wait the full 5 years to age 70 and your payment is 36% higher than it would have been at 65, like permanently for the rest of your life. And because OAS is indexed to inflation, that higher base keeps growing with the cost of living. For someone in good health with other income sources, perhaps a workplace pension or savings, deferring OAS to 67, 68, or even 70 provides significantly more guaranteed, inflation-protected income for the later years of retirement when other assets may be running lower and healthcare costs tend to rise. It is not the right move for everyone, but if you have not seriously considered it, it is worth running the numbers. The third strategy is perhaps the simplest, but the most psychologically important. Think of your OAS and CPP together as your guaranteed foundation. The income that will be there every month, no matter what markets do, no matter what inflation does, because both are indexed to the cost of living and both are guaranteed for life. Build your retirement plan around protecting and maximizing that foundation. Use your TFSA and other flexible savings to handle the variable expenses, the larger purchases, the travel, the home repairs, the years when costs spike. This separation between your guaranteed income and your flexible savings gives you resilience against almost any scenario. I also want to say something about the CPP, because I know that when people worry about the OAS, they often lump the two programs together. Please do not. The CPP is on an entirely different financial footing. It has a dedicated investment fund that has averaged over 8% annual returns for the past decade. It is reviewed by independent actuaries every 3 years and confirmed to be sustainable for at least the next 75 years. The CPP is one of the most financially secure pension programs in the world. If you are choosing between starting your CPP early or waiting, and you are in reasonable health, waiting is almost always the better financial decision. A 42% higher payment at 70 compared to 65, guaranteed for life and indexed to inflation, is an extremely valuable asset that most people significantly underestimate. Let us bring everything together. The OAS is not going bankrupt. The government's own evidence-based projections show that the program, as a share of the Canadian economy, rises through the 2030s, then gradually declines. It is funded by today's taxpayers, which makes it sensitive to economic conditions and political decisions in a way the CPP is not. The pressures are real: an aging population, a growing deficit, and a 2-to-1 worker-to-retiree ratio by 2060. These are genuine challenges that future governments will have to address. But for you, sitting here today, the most important message is this: your OAS is a durable, inflation-protected benefit. Your CPP is backed by one of the most secure pension funds in the world. Together, they form a foundation that no market crash, no stock market drop, and no interest rate change can touch. The actions you take: managing your TFSA to avoid the clawback, considering deferral if your situation allows, and treating your government income as your guaranteed base while using savings flexibly, give you control over outcomes that most people leave entirely to chance. You do not need to fear the headlines. You need a plan, and now you have the foundation of one. If this video helped you think about your OAS situation a little more clearly, please share it with a friend or family member who might be wondering the same things about their retirement security. The questions you heard today are questions millions of Canadians are asking, and most of them never get a calm, honest answer. And if you are not subscribed yet, please do. We post new videos every single day covering Canadian pension updates, benefit changes, tax strategies, and practical financial guidance for seniors, all in plain, simple language without the jargon. Tap subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video that could protect your retirement income. Thank you so much for watching all the way through. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you tomorrow.